Hello and welcome. In this video today, we're going to be looking at the energy needed for life, or the fuel that life needs for its various processes. So we're going to be discussing a little bit about autotrophs, heterotrophs, and how they get their energy, as well as the universal energy carrier molecule. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? The energy for life. Autotrophs, if you remember, are any organism that can go ahead and create their own food. These are also known as producers. So some great examples of producers include algae as well as plants, like this majestic tree. Now, on the other hand, heterotrophs are organisms that depend on others for food and must consume them to get that energy. These are also known as consumers. Some great examples of consumers include animals and bacteria, as well as fungi, and some protista. Slightly graphic, but here we go. We have a lion going ahead and chowing down on a zebra, so acquiring energy from other organisms. Now, there are two primary biological processes that are needed to create energy for organisms. The first type is through photosynthesis, or chemosynthesis if you're using chemicals. But photosynthesis is the process that converts sunlight into usable sugar. Now, only autotrophs can go ahead and carry this process out. The second type is respiration. Respiration is the process that releases energy and sugar into usable forms of energy for the cells. And this process can be carried out from the autotrophs and the heterotrophs, any organism that has a mitochondria. Let's continue. So, regarding energy, ATP, also known as adenosine triphosphate, is the primary energy storage molecule in these reactions. So ATP is comprised of three primary components. You have an adenine, which is the nitrogen base, you have the ribose, which is the sugar, and you have the three phosphate groups, so adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. Now you will have to go ahead and be able to label an ATP molecule, so make sure you go ahead and copy this down. So finally, let's talk a little bit more information here about ATP. ATP is the universal currency for energy. Now, ATP stores this energy in between the bonds between the phosphate groups. And when one of these bonds are broken, that energy is released. So we have ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and when we go ahead and break the bonds between one of the phosphate groups, that is going to go ahead and release the phosphate as well as all the energy held in between those bonds. So if you think back, we know that ATP looks something like this. So we had that's a very crude interpretation, but you get the point. We had our adenine, we had our ribose, and we had our three phosphate groups. Now, if you go ahead and break one of these phosphate chains, so let's say we go ahead and break that off right there. What we're doing is we are separating that phosphate from the ATP, and now we only have ADP, or adenosine diphosphate, because if you count it, we have two phosphates. And when we go ahead and break that bond, we are releasing all the energy that was held within that bond, which normally is a tremendous amount. So that right there, this is just a short little video into how organisms can get their energy and what ATP is, as well as its importance. If you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and contact your instructor. They will point you in the right direction. Thank you very much for your time, and as always, until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.